So we come to the last two questions of this paper. Yay! Okay, solve this. That's quite a complex question. This is a quadratic, and there are really nice ways to solve it using a calculator. Okay, and some calculators like this one, you can put this straight in and solve it, and it's really, really good. And I would definitely advise you on how to do that here. Okay, but of course, if you don't have this calculator, then you're not going to have that chance to do it. And most people don't have the calculator like that. So therefore, I'm going to try and do it without using the calculator's that function. But there are two ways to do this. So it's going to take some time. The first way is to use a formula. Okay, and the formula that solves this is called the quadratic formula, and it looks a bit like this. So I know it looks scary, guys, and I know you're going to go flipping heck. How am I supposed to do that? Okay, I do think you probably get this formula given to you, but this is a way of solving it, where each of these letters represents something here. So for instance, the A represents the number in front of x squared, which in this case is 1. The B represents the number in front of x, in this case 5. And the C represents that constant value, -24. So what you can do is you can just type it straight into the calculator like this. Okay, now I'll just show you how to do it, but it is quite complex. So I put minus b, so I put -5, and I'm going to use the plus. I'm going to come back and use a minus afterwards. And then open the square root, but put a bracket in. So it's good to put a bracket in there, and that's really important. B squared, so 5 squared, boom, minus 4. Now put little brackets there, bracket, A is 1, close bracket, open bracket, and I can just hear some of my students going, oh, I'm never going to do this, but you can, by practice, do it. So I put in the C value in bracket, -24, and don't forget I had a big bracket there, so I close it like that, and it will tell you, and then underneath that, write 2, open bracket, 1, which is the A value. Make sure the big flashy bits over there. Okay, so that's that written out. And now if I press equals, I get 3. So I know one possible value is 3. But what I did was, I had that minus. So I'm going to get my arrow key and go all the way back. And let's see, this is how quick it can be. Once you know how to use this, it's really powerful. Delete that, put a minus, and then press return. So -8. So they're the two values that work for this by the calculator. So you can do it quite quickly if you know how to use a calculator. If you don't know how to use a calculator, or it's a non-calculator paper, then there's another way of doing it. Okay, and that is to say, well, I need to split these things up into brackets, factorize. And to do that, you need to think of two numbers that multiply to make -24, that add to make 5. It's called the AM. So two numbers that multiply to make negative. So one's got to be a negative, one's got to be a positive. Okay, and they've got to, when you add them together, make 5. So the bigger guy's got to be the positive. So here I can see 3 times 8. 3 times 8 is -24, minus 3 plus 8 is plus 5. So then what I do is I put those values in there. And for this bracket to equal 0, x must be 3. Because that makes it 0. Or for this bracket to be 0, x must be -8. So there are two different ways you can do this. Get used to this method if you've got a calculator. Really very worthwhile doing. Let's finish off this with question 25. So here's the first, oh yeah, and all this is to do with quadratics. You can check out on Swinchy Maths the quadratic ones as well. Here are the first 6 terms of an arithmetic series. So again, check my website. Arithmetic means that it goes up in the same distance each time, like steps, just like steps. Okay, so I go from 3, 8, 13, 18, 23, etc. Find an expression in terms of n. Well, I know it goes up in +5, doesn't it? So I know it goes up +5. So it's a 5 times table. So I put an n there. I know it's a 5 times table and it's going up. And I check the base. this value here is where it started from. Okay? So if it went up in 5s, if it goes up in 5s, if I drop back 5, I get to -2. That's one way of describing it. Another way is to say, well, if it goes up in 5s, then that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And what do I do to adjust from 5 to 2, 10 to 8, 15 to 13? I take away 2. So 2 different ways of learning how to do that. Again, check those videos out. And then it says right near the end, it says here, the nth term of a different sequence is 3n squared. 3n squared. Nathan says that the fourth term is that. Is he right? Okay, what we're going to do is drop in the value of 4 into there and see if it comes out as 144. And that's all I need to do. So on my calculator, I literally go 3, open bracket, 4, close bracket, squared equals 48. Nope. He's not right. And that's it. Happy days.